promised myself I wouldn't do this again. I promised myself that I wouldn't buy forced pot-bound plants that have been deliberately forced so that they are abundantly flowering and tempting me to buy them. And I did. And now I've got the problem of I don't want to leave them in the pots for the summer, because what happens is, because they're pot bound, I'll never be able to keep up with the watering and they'll die. But if I take them out of the pots, I've got to manage this bit as well, which may or may not be holding them up. That's not actually supporting that. That will not flop. So that's what I've got to do. Wish me luck. I've just realised you couldn't see what I was doing. You could see me, but not these pots that I was filling with fuchsias. It probably took me about half an hour. That's about my limit. Look at these amazing clouds. We've had days of either no clouds or very fine, fluffy, unformed clouds. I've uploaded a couple of cloud videos, but they just don't hit the spot. These do, and I think I've done one this morning. I haven't played it back yet. I think I've done one this morning that will be better than the ones I've done over the last few days. That's me done. That is my limit. And I didn't go and get the secateurs because it was too far to walk. So I came out with scissors, and then I'm having to use both hands because I can't use my thumbs. And very nearly, as the scissors went through, nearly pinched part of my hand. I'm a danger to myself, a real danger to myself. So we had a lovely morning. We went up, and I'd said to Mark last night that I wanted to go up and buy some plants to go in out here just to make it prettier. The agapanthus in the pot, in this pot, the first pot, that's got several flower heads on it now, so that will look pretty once it makes it. Look at these. Cool. So yeah, we had a nice morning. He had to get petrol because he's going to do some lawn mowing. So I went to the polytunnels, picked up two really nice plants. I can't describe them. Sort of palm-like, but not as big as palms. Really structural, dark green leaves, really pretty, really heavy. And picked one up and put it in my trolley. And as I picked the other one up, I noticed it was €65, so I put them both back. Like, I hadn't gone out to spend that sort of money. I might think about buying one of those maybe at some point, but I don't know what they'll do. I don't know what they'll do when we finally get summer. I've put these fuchsias out here because I'm gonna say it's a bit cooler than out the front. Out the front's just too hot, and they'll sort of burn, or because they've got this sort of soft wood, aren't they? Soft leaves, soft wood. But actually out here along this edge here, they can get burnt in full summer. So I'll need to keep an eye on them and pull them back into the shade. But I just wanted to pretty it up a bit. I know it's still pretty shitty out here. There's still a dead bougainvillea over there in a container that I need to sort out, but that's prickly. And I went to put my gloves on just now, but they're out here in the rain, so my gardening gloves were wet. We had a lot of rain overnight, surprising amount of rain. The green trolley that we put the wood in is next to me because I've been using it to put rubbish in as I've been clearing up out here, and it's got that much water in it, and everything I lifted from over there had got water in it, so it was quite a bit of rain that we had, which is great for the garden. Everything's still really green, and at this time of the year that's really unusual. But and I know somebody was complaining about the weather yesterday on Facebook. I think it was you, Sue, if you're watching this. I don't know whether you watch this, but complaining that you'd got, I was going to say grail, because that's French. Hail. Grey is French. Oh, I can't remember. But you'd got hail. It's this June we've got hail, and I'm thinking, I think it is, and whilst we look like we've got beautiful weather and I'm sitting here, it's still quite cool. And we had a coffee in the square as we came away. We stopped in the square and it was so lovely, sunny, and blue sky, and we stopped and had a coffee in the square. I took a photo of the abbey as I came out of the loo. I'll add that in this because I'm going to upload these bits to iMovie, so I'll add in my photo here of the abbey at San Sebastian here. So so we had coffee in the square, which was really nice. We've not done that for a long time, and we used to sit and have coffee in the square quite a bit, and it was still quite early. Don't know what time we got home. I think we were home by 10. Very unusual for us, but I was up at 5:30. And I've just been up to try and have a siesta to try and make up for that, but I haven't been able to sleep. But yeah, I woke coughing, so it was like I was awake, so I got up. And it was 5:30, so I'm not really very impressed with that. But I seem to be doing okay, really, under the circumstances. 5.5 hours sleep. I made chili con carne today, chucked everything in it. All healthy good things I chucked in it. I chucked some spinach in it, so it makes it, the colour's not so enticing. It's not as red as it might be. A tin of spinach, tin of kidney beans, ground beef, onions, black garlic. What else did I use? Coconut oil for frying, onions, and I added a teaspoon of beetroot powder and a teaspoon of paprika, some chilies, cumin, lots of cumin. I love cumin. Was that it? What was the other? Oh, some chicken grease. So chicken stock grease fat, because chicken grease is really good for you, which is why in the olden days, before people started eating crap, people would, mothers would make you chicken soup if you were sick, because lots of the ingredients in chicken are really healthful, good for your health. So I chucked in some chicken stock and chicken fat into the beef chili, and it was really nice. And we've got enough. We had brown rice, because I don't like any other rice really, and brown rice is better anyway. And there's enough for me to freeze it for another meal another day, so I'm really pleased about that. I feel a little less unstable, destabilized than I felt yesterday. I think that's just how it is. I know that we were sitting in the garden talking about how we felt after the Brexit vote, and sort of reeling in shock after that. I didn't feel like that yesterday or the day before. I wasn't reeling in shock. I wasn't surprised. Really unhappy and worried. But the Brexit vote was like, what? Was shocking, unbelievable, and I didn't feel like that yesterday. I don't know what's going to happen. I've read something in Le Monde that suggests that that he is gambling, Macron's gambling and putting the country to the test. Is this really what you want? And we might find it's not. That would be amazing. It's a bit like when you have, I mean, I know that in the UK you've had local elections and the Tories have been ousted, ousted, outed, kicked up the butt in the local elections, and sometimes that doesn't reflect a general election. I don't think that's going to happen in the UK this time. I think the Tories are definitely on their way out. Rishi Sunak can't do anything right. He's just a boy. He's just a boy. He's in his early 40s and is out of his depth and had no idea about what he should be doing at Omaha or on the beaches or wherever they were, Normandy. No idea. And I know that somebody has been called out, Farage has been called out for being racist by suggesting that he doesn't respect our culture or our history. And I don't think it is that. And I think it's that it's not that he doesn't respect it, it's that he didn't grow up, as I did, with a father who fought in a war, or a brother or an uncle, or any of his relations who fought in this war. I don't know anything about his background and what wars maybe his parents fought in or didn't. But he didn't grow up with that. And sadly, even though he's a fucking politician, doesn't understand how important that is to my generation, to the older generation, and to some of the younger generation. You know, my son understands, my daughter, we all understand how important that is. But there's a lot of people because my son and my daughter are similar age to Sunak, but a lot of people of that age group and younger, if they didn't have that connection to the war, have moved on and forgotten, and may not understand the importance of it, may not understand that, you know, my dad went to war. I can't imagine going to war. I can't imagine my son was sent to Afghanistan as part of his job, and it was terrifying for me, probably for him, but he was young, and they just get on with it. And it's unbelievable that people get sent to war, that people go to war, and I think we need to honour that and forever not forget about it, because it doesn't bother us, it doesn't mean anything to us. Not do a Trump what was in it for them, talking about the young lads, you know, on the beaches, landing on the beaches. What was in it for them? Fuck you, Trump. Fuck you. This wasn't going where I thought it would go, but that's not a surprise, is it? That's not a surprise. I do have a question. I have a question for the supporters of Donald Trump. Is this something I can do for you, Mrs. Pussycat? Okay. I have a question for supporters of Donald Trump. Why do you think he gives a shit about your life? On that note, we'll talk to the cat. She probably might make more sense. Hold on. There is something else. If Trump stands on the beaches and says, what's in it for them, doesn't that give you an idea of what's in his head? That the only reason he does anything is it's got to have something in it for him. Think on that. Okay. Sorry, I'm up close.